Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Thank you
afternoon.
for coming to help us try to get self-response rates for the 2020 census in Philadelphia up from where they are. Uh, we are going to go over what it takes to start doing phone banking using our script. And you are going to become familiar with a platform called the VAN, and you will learn how to get the public facing side of VAN to access a virtual phone bank, make calls, and record that data, which then we analyze and help us determine where to put our resources.
Wow, sounds complicated.
It is easier than you ever think.
Okay.
So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Okay. Can you see what it say? VAN Open Virtual Phone Bank
Yeah.
Training Guy?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. Um, so VAN is actually an acronym for Voter Activation Network.
Huh.
It was first developed during the Obama campaign, the first one in 2008, 2007, 2008.
Hmm.
And they use it to recruit volunteers, train volunteers, do fundraising, manage volunteers and staff. And also they were able to segment uh, messages to specific constituencies so they knew who was interested in the environment. So they will target specific messages to them so they can get them engaged, get them active,
Interesting.
get them recruited as volunteers,
Mm-hmm.
and they go out and get more people. That way they avoided trying to just send one message to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
This is a smarter way to do it.
Yeah.
Um, After the campaigns were over, this became a commercial product and is mostly used now by community organizations that are doing community organizing, political organizations that are doing specific political campaigns, electoral campaigns use it a lot.
Hmm.
Philanthropies use it. Some churches are using it to manage the work with the congregations and their members. Some business use Van too as well,
Huh.
because Van is actually a customer relation platform.
Hmm.
You're probably most familiar with Salesforce, which is the most popular in the private sector.
Hmm.
Um, but Van is also being used by some municipalities like Philadelphia to do civic engagement, to engage the communities and the residents on different initiatives and activities, and to kind of fill the pulse of the communities.
Hmm.
So we use the Van to do outreach and organize activities and events related to the 2020 census to try to get the turnout.
Okay.
All right. So, what is phone banking and why are we doing it? So, phone banking is you have a list of people and you make phone calls. Uh, you can also send text messages. You can do email blasts to people you have on the database. You need two things basically with it. You need a list of people with phone numbers or emails, and then you need volunteers who can help you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the reason why we using phone banking is because when the pandemic started, we had to lock down in March. We had planned hundreds, I tell you, hundreds of public events with large crowds
Yeah.
throughout
Yeah.
the city. Actually, we're
Mm-hmm.
going to do a lot of stuff in the libraries. You know, we're going to do a lot of
Sure.
events. Got people, have all the libraries open to people come in and use the computers to do their census. And
Mm-hmm.
we would be driving people to the libraries to do that. Uh, just to give another example, one of the groups that we work with had planned to do a census family night. They're going to have about 250 families coming to one place,
Wow.
and they're
Wow.
going to feed them, and they're going to have entertainment for the children. And there will be
Mm-hmm.
census takers there to help people do the census right there, and they're going to have dozens of computers to do it. Well, they can't do that right now.
Yeah.
That's impossible. So we needed to shift to a virtual platform to continue to do some of the work. And the van was just really uh, the most appropriate, and it was ready available for us to use. Uh, we are calling the two sets of database, and I'm going to talk to that about that later. When you look at the map, you're looking at a map of Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
and you see the dark brown areas.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the areas that are not responding as well as we would like.
Mm-hmm.
The response rate is below 50% for households. And the deeper blue, that's over 50% and then, higher.
Sure.
So we want to have a lot of Philadelphia looking like some shade of blue.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to see all those, deep uh,
Yeah.
brown places. So we analyze the self-response rates on a daily basis, and then we decide which area of the city to call. We know that the calls are working because after we call one specific area, in the next 24 or 48 hours, you see an uptick in self-response rates. It's noticeable.
Huh.
So we know that this is working, and we're making between 10 to 15,000 calls a week to those
Wow.
specific neighborhoods. And, and I think it's a really a good effort. And we have found a very good number of volunteers who helping us do this on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
So to start making, to use the van to start making phone calls on the phone bank, you need to log in through one link that we're gonna email to you, and just follow the prompts on the email. Say you get an email, you get a link, and start making calls. When you click to start making calls, you're gonna click this here, get started. When you click, it's gonna say enter your action ID. Okay, but if you don't have one, don't fret, you can create one the first time. And you can click here to say create an action ID account.
Okay.
And then you press there, and then it will take you to this page. And then you will put an email address that you use, a password you can remember. And I like to usually click when it says show password. I have very fat fingers. Sometimes I hit a key and it usually hit the other key. And then I had difficulty sometimes remembering password. That's not what I put in. What happened to my password? And that is that. So when I show password, I verify that that's what I wanted to have. I usually write down the password on my desk in my workspace, or I would store the password in my memo folder in my cell phone. So in case I have trouble, I can go there. You put your first name, your last name, and a phone number. And you click that you accept the privacy policy. If you want to read it, you can click on the blue link. You can read the privacy policy. If you're satisfied with it, you come back and click it. And then you hit create account. Once you hit create account, the van will send you a confirmation email to the email address you provided.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get that, you go back to your email, open your email folder, and then you see it. You click on it. It should take you directly to the first page to start making calls. However, it is an opportunity for you to edit your profile if you like. You can either change your password or do some other things. That's an opportunity to do that. So it will take you back to the login page. If the login page is the blue link doesn't immediately take you to the first start making calls, you can go back to the first one that we send you the login in, and you can just put the email address and the password and log in, because
Mm-hmm.
now you have an action ID. Okay. So once you log in, the virtual phone bank will open, and they will also offer you a tour on how to navigate the phone banking page. So if you're new to virtual phone banks, it's recommended that you take the tour. However, you can also go into YouTube, and you can type van phone banks, And then you see a number of really, really nice tutorials made by many community organizations of all types across the country.
Mhm.
And some of them are longer, some of them are shorter, but you can get a feel in different ways. When you see those tutorials on YouTube, you're going to see a lot of people in one room with balloons, pizza, refreshments, cake. Um, but we're not doing that now because we
Yeah.
cannot get people together in one place. So we're doing this
Mhm.
individually. Uh, what it shows in the tutorial is that normally how a phone bank usually happens. It's a fun time. Um, anyway, so if you want to do that, you can do it either through YouTube or you can get a tutorial that's made that's available in the platform. So once you're ready to make phone calls, uh, you click like get started, and this is what the page will look like. So on the top of the page, you're gonna have the name of the person, a phone number, and 99% of the time, you're gonna have the age and gender of the person. If you connect your microphone and speakers to your computer to make phone calls, if you're using a desktop or a laptop, you can click the highlighted number and it will dial, the computer will dial for you.
Okay.
If not, what I use my cell phone and I make the calls that way. I just dial the number and I told to Jamie, and then I record the information that she gives me. Uh, so the script is in every page, and you just follow the script.
Mhm.
Um, once you do it 3 or 4 times, you're gonna memorize it, so you don't have to read it. Uh, but that's a reference. The other thing about the age is like knowing the age of the person I'm calling helps me to kind of deliver my opening. What is it that I'm going to say when the person picks up the phone? So that's one of the reasons I really enjoyed seeing the age of the person, especially if I know that the person is 75 years old. I'm going to let the phone ring several times before I hang up. So Jamie picks up the phone and you say, and the first thing is, hello, is this Jamie? Uh, don't say, is this Jamie? Uh, no, don't say, I'm looking for Jamie. Don't say that because some people say this could be a debt collector or somebody else. Uh, the best way, if this research proves it, say, hello, is this Jamie? And
Yep.
Jamie say, yes, this is she. Oh, I'm glad to hear you. My name is Pedro. I'm a volunteer with the City of Philadelphia. We're calling today to check in with families about the 2020 census. How are you doing today? And then you go in and read the rest of the script.
Mhm.
Okay. So once you get Jamie engaged in the conversation, um, the first question is, have you received an invitation to participate in the 2020 census in the mail? And as Jamie say, oh, yes, I got it. Um, There's usually a pause there, and I usually say, "Oh, do you have any difficulties completing it, or do you have any questions?" And then they will offer what they did with it. They say, "Oh no, I already did it, and we want to know how they did it." And the three ways I could have done it is by phone, internet, or they fill out the questionnaire and mail it back.
Mhm.
So we record that information because we want to know how people did it in Philadelphia. Uh, if Jamie says, no, I never received anything like that, then you want to do a number of things. First thing I say, Jamie, can your phone receive text messages? She say yes. I say, is it okay if I text you the website for you to go and do it online, or the phone number for you to do it by phone? And the phone number and uh, website are on the script. Well, the website is really easy. It's www.2020census.gov. And the phone number is there. So if Jamie says, okay, then I go and do that and I send it to her. If that happens, that the person you're calling never received the mailing information from the Census Bureau, we want you to write that down on the bottom of the page. We'll say notes. You say, Jamie did not receive the information, I texted her the website, or I texted her the phone number, or
Mhm.
I gave her the phone number, she wrote it down, or she said she was going to follow up with it. Please do that. And then once you're done with that, you can click save and next call.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, if you're calling Jamie and the phone it's not being picked up, I usually let it ring until it's about to go into voicemail, at which time I click hang up, and then I would uh, uh, click on not home. Um, and once I click one of these buttons here, this blue rectangle will become deeper, and then I can click on for the next call. Uh, Sometimes I say, "Is this Jamie?" And the person say, "No, this is Charlie. It's not Jamie here." I say, "Oh, I'm so sorry about that. That's a wrong number." You click wrong number. You sometimes you come and hear the message from the from the phone company, and that would be there's a disconnected phone. You put it there, you get disconnected. Um, Sometime, and that happened to me this time around, I have spoken to, looking for people who have been deceased. Unfortunately, they die, and then somebody picks up the phone and say, "Sorry to tell you, the person dies." You put that there.
Mm.
A couple of times, I pick up the person picks up the phone, and it's Jamie, and Jamie say, "Oh, but I don't live in Philadelphia now. I'm in Texas. I moved to Texas 2 years ago." And I will say, "But why? Why? What's wrong with you? Why were you moved to Texas? Come back to Philly. Is anybody in Texas calling you to see how you're doing?" No, only Philadelphia would do that. And they usually laugh about that, have a good time. I actually have a conversation with a couple of people and say, I've been thinking about going back to Philly. So you just put move. However, if the person that you talking to, let's say, Jimmy say, "Oh, I just moved back home," uh, ask, were you a student enrolled in one of the colleges and university in Philly this semester? If they say yes, then say, you're required by law, by the census regulation, to fill out a census form with your Philadelphia address. And they would say, "Well, my parents already put me in there as in New Jersey." And then you should tell them, when your parents filled out the form and included you, there was a box to say, "Is Jamie a college student?" And they probably click yes. That probably means that you will not be counted there, because the computer is assuming that you're going to be counted at the location where you were attending college or university. So if Jamie said that she was a college student the spring semester of 2020 in Philadelphia, I'm going to ask if I can text her the website so she can go on and do it, or the phone number for her to do it. Um, Another time you're going to find someone who speaks another language, doesn't speak English well, try to figure out if it's Spanish or another language. You click one of those, and one of the people who are bilingual will call that person later.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then sometime Jamie would pick up the phone and they say, "I don't want to talk to anybody," and hands up. You're going to put refuse for that. So if that happens to you, don't take it personally. They don't know you. You don't know them. People have bad days. Things happen to people and they just don't want to talk to anybody. And we just respect their privacy and we just mark it on refuse. Nobody else will call them. When we take, let's say that we have 7 or 8,000 people in one phone bank, we call everybody once. And when we go from number one to the last one, the computer will then send it to a second round, and we only be calling the people that were not home, or that signal that was busy, or the other languages.
Mm-hmm.
So we eliminate the refuse, the cease, move, run
Mm-hmm.
number, disconnected. So that's important to mark it that way.
Okay.
All right. So once if that happens, then you get one of those buttons, will take you to the next person. You make the next call. If you're still talking to Jamie, the last question is asking whether or not Jamie would like to volunteer with Philly Counts. We do a number of things. If we do, and they say, what would I do? You say, what I'm doing right now, I'm calling people like you. That's
Mhm.
one thing to do phone banking. They say, we train you, we teach you how to use the platform. It's a new skill. It's a customer relation management system you're going to learn to use. Uh, you can use social media. You own social media to put census messages. We send that out on a weekly basis. You can just reproduce that. Or you can join us to do the contactless door hangers through some neighborhoods that we're doing now. If Jamie say I'm interested in volunteering, then just write, ask her for her email address and put it in the notes section. And then you're ready to go and click to make the next goal. If sometimes you're having difficulty calling a number that's for some reason is not working well, you can skip it. You can hit skip and you can move on to that. Also, if you're making phone calls and then you had to, something happened, you need to go and stop, you can click here, stop making calls. And then when you're ready to resume making calls, you go back and log on the same time, the same way you did it for the first time, except that you don't have to create another action ID because you already have one. That's yours for life. Okay. Now, option for making calls. I use my own cell phone to make calls. And then what happens is when you call somebody that's not home, they're going to see that somebody called from this number, and sometimes they're going to call you back. If they call you back, what we like you to do is to write down the phone number that called you back and the answer to the questions. Oh, yes, I was calling you about the census. Do you get the mailing from the Census Bureau? You have any questions? And they say, oh, no, I already did it, or no, I didn't do it. And you just write that information. And then you can send that information to me, to Mike Rooney, to Alice Cooper, who's the person going to send you the phone bank on a weekly basis, or Jameer, to kind of we enter that information on the back end of the system.
Sure.
Now, if you do not want your phone number to appear when you call, you can use a Google phone number. Type Google Voice in your browser, and it will take you to a site that can gonna give you a phone number with an area code for Philadelphia. It just asks you name and where you live. You say Philadelphia, we're gonna give you a 267-215 phone number. You can use that number to make calls.
Okay.
All right, the other way is that you can make calls using a desktop, a laptop, a tablet, or a cell phone, a smartphone. If you're gonna use a smartphone, we recommend that you download the Minivan app. It's there. It's available for Androids and iPhones. And you download the app, and you enter your action ID, and that's a quick way for you to make the call. The good thing about this is, just click one punch to dial the number, and you're in. Okay. So we are doing the script that we're doing. We're just checking to see if people have received the invitation to do the census. And then sometimes we do COVID outreach to see how people are handling the pandemic. If they, a lot of the people that we talked to have questions about the COVID. They were concerned about where to get free testing. People are looking for food assistance. They had a lot of questions about how to get help to pay rent or mortgages. We have a lot of parents who are looking for places to get diapers and baby products. They have infants. We did a bunch of calls asking for people right after the protests. A lot of pharmacies were shut down. We asked if people were having difficulty getting the medications, and we help a lot of people that way. Okay. So we sending the phone bank for the week based on the data from the previous week. We analyze the data. We send the information. We also have community organization that have provided us with their list of members, supporters, clients, and we do a phone bank for them. And they the only ones that look at that and they do those phone calls. The phone numbers that we're calling are from the voter registration list in Philadelphia County. The library was also calling their members. So you have a slightly different script. Just follow the script the same way as we do that. And we make call from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. It is illegal in Pennsylvania to make calls after 9 p.m. So, and you can do 7 days a week at your leisure. And that brings you to the end. So you have any questions?
No questions.
Okay.
The information you have put all the information together about the food banks and the resources so that we can access that when we're talking to people?
Yes, if you, there's two things to deal with that. That's a really good question, Marianne. So you can type on the notes section, this person needs food assistance. You type them, we check that on a regular basis and we can follow up.
Okay.
Or we can email you the list of resources. I usually type the zip code where the person lives and I find out which location is closer to them.
Okay.
Sometimes we find people who are homebound, they can't get out. We have made arrangement with some volunteer to go and drop in a box of food here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we can get you that information on a regular basis.
That's great.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other question? And by the way, the sun is out now. So. Okay.
Yep.
Well, is no more question, then thank you so much. You're gonna get email from Nate and Alice Cooper by the phone bank, and then you can start just if you want to practice this week, be more than happy to do that.
Sounds great.
We'll send you the link.
All right.
All right, great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. You take care.
You too. Have a nice weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.